Hello, this is Chef Scott, and right now we're in the middle of that COVID-19 isolation, social distancing. Right now it's cold outside. It was warm and it got cold. So I thought what a great time to do a soup. These are leeks, and I want to show you right away how to work with them. These are giant versions of spring onions almost, green onions if you will. You see there's a green and a white part. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come down to my cutting board here. Got some potatoes next. And what I'm gonna do is gonna cut off the root end. And then I gotta wash this thing. It's a little crazy how you do this. I'm going to go ahead and cut down where the green and the white sort of meet. And I'm just gonna pull a vegetable, and then I'm gonna do the long side as long as I can. And in front of me, I've got a bowl of water. This is gonna get a little bit dirty here. And I'm gonna show you how dirty these leeks are. Whenever you work with vegetables, come back up to me, please. Hi, how are you? Once you work with leeks, or any vegetable, you gotta wash them. If you don't wash them, it's not worth making the recipe that you wanna do. If you come back down to the leek for a minute, you'll see that I can get a little bit of it in the water. And I don't know if the camera will pick up the water line here, but you can see the difference between a washed off and a dry area. But let me show you the inside of these leeks to show you how dirty they get. I'm just gonna open it up. And I don't know if the camera will pick this up, but there's all kinds of dirt in here. And there's dirt all the way up here, see? So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you what we do in the chef's kitchen to make this work with leeks. Number one, I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting them. It's gonna cut. And this is fantastic for you to check out your knife skills. And to see, what you do is you push all this together, put the knife down, and just cut. My thumb is actually back here behind, sort of using my front 3 fingers as a bridge. And I'm just cutting. And what I'm gonna end up with is onions everywhere, actually leeks everywhere. And my thumb, like I said, should be resting behind, okay? And this is about where the leek meets. I'm gonna go ahead and rub this real well all over. I'm gonna fan it open, I'm gonna rub it, and you're gonna see how dirty this water gets as I go through the different layers of leek. Am I at a good angle for them to see? Mm-hmm. All right, Clive. All right. Move it over to the next quarter and start that quarter. And you can see that this bowl is gonna start getting very dirty very quickly. But the interesting thing that we notice in science and in working with foods that we have to wash is that dirt goes to the bottom. And that's gonna really help us out as we work. Look at this bowl. I don't know if you can see that. See how dirty that is? So we're just gonna rinse that off and get all that sand out, and I'm gonna refill this. This time I'm gonna put in my greens. The green tops are very thick, and in most countries, they use them for soups. They don't throw them away because they're tough. They are thick, so a soup is perfect for using them. And what I'm doing is letting it fill up so that there's room for the sand to go down to the bottom of this. Now I'm gonna pull this out real quick because I have 2 potatoes that I need to wash. Same thing with all your vegetables, all your fruits. If you wash them, then they're gonna bless you with a great meal. If you don't wash them, nobody wants mud and dirt and grime and sediment in their food. Okay. Now, this is one ingredient. I'm just gonna toss these. Maybe I can rub them a little bit, kind of get whatever's stuck on to loosen up. And that dirt will fall to the bottom. In a kitchen, like a chef's kitchen, we'll actually fill a well full of water, and our wells are much bigger. And then we'll wash our fruits and vegetables and everything in those before they go to the various cook stations to be used for whatever is going on. Okay, so this part here, let's see what the washing did. How does it look to you? Does it look like I got almost all or all of it out? I hope I got it all. Oh, see, look at that. I missed. Leeks are very tricky. So I'm gonna put it back in here and I'm gonna rub it again. I'm gonna rub each layer and fan them out and open them and get that water in there any way I can. And for this recipe of chicken and potato and leek, we call it Cockaleekie soup. Caca for the bird, leeky for the leeks, and it is, I don't know, is it British? I think it's British in nature or Irish in nature.
It's Swedish.
It's Swedish? Oh, how cool is that? I guess I'm gonna have to give you an activity sheet on this soup so that we can really learn where things are from. Then I'm gonna look again. Sometimes I gotta do this 2, 3, or 4 times. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna take the outer layer off because the outer layer is like leather. It's all fibery and stringy and something we don't want to use in the kitchen. I'm going to work with the potatoes. And the potatoes, I'm just going to help the soup along. I'm going to hold the potatoes. I'm going to hold my knife point down, go down, cut them in half, lay them flat, and I'll probably cut it in half. And then I'll probably run my knife through to make about inch-sized cubes like this. Go ahead and put those in our bowl. And now I'm going to need at least 2 cups of potatoes. I have more here because I don't make this soup very often. I can freeze it. It freezes well, and it makes delicious leftovers. In fact, this is one of those soups where the more you make and keep it in the freezer, the better it gets. So the ingredients for this are potatoes and leeks. And the last item I'm going to do, butter may not really count as an ingredient per se, but we're going to add some butter to this because butter, leeks, and potatoes are a wonderful combination. You could use olive oil or margarine, but since margarine and butter has the same calories, I'd rather just go ahead and fill up on my butter. All right, now the other ingredient, I have water here. I got two quarts, 2 liters of water. And what I have here, this is gonna help me out, better than bouillon. I like better than bouillon. It comes in different flavors. Beef, this is chicken, pork, it's got shellfish, seafood, fish. Wonderful. I'm gonna get a spoon, which I actually have out already. And what I'm gonna do is it calls for 1 teaspoon for about 12 ounces of water. And I'm gonna go ahead and put in what's equivalent to a tablespoon. You can get this at Walmart or any of the other main grocery stores. This used to be when we were young kids, we would get bouillon, dried cubes of salt and chicken flavor or beef flavor, and it was loaded with salt. This better than bouillon does not have that high sodium content, So this is really a great substitute. I'm only doing this because I don't have time to make stock. I'm gonna grab a whisk. And what I've got is hot water that I microwave. And here we go. Ta-da! Instant soup base. I love it. Okay, so we got our potatoes, our leeks. We're ready. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on our pan. And I wanna show you one other thing real quickly. Let me make some room here. This is my cute little salt holder. Many of you who are part of our cooking club know that I like going to salt and pepper, very easy. This way, my salt doesn't get contaminated and I can cover it up and take it with me. If I need pepper, I can grind fresh pepper. Today, because we kind of are doing a white style soup or a slight off-white, we're gonna use white pepper instead. And I have organic ground white pepper. That'll be delicious. And I normally keep my seasonings where I can get at it. So we have our, right here we have a Dutch oven or a cooking pot, and this is a 4-quart. And I'm just gonna come in here and cut up some butter. Now how much butter we're gonna use? Well, if I do 1 tablespoon, it doesn't look like it's gonna be enough. I would say 2 tablespoons, 3 at the most. The trick is, whenever you cook something, you wanna preheat your pot or pan. Have it already hot for you. Number 1, it'll make better food for you, and food won't stick. It's a wonderful thing. Now, I never use high. I always come at least 1 notch down when I'm bringing the pan up to temperature, and then I lower it from there. So here, this is warmed up. We have 3 tablespoons of butter going in. Oh, a happy noise, happy noise, happy noise. Then we're gonna bring over our leeks. And I'm just going to drain it like that, put them in. It makes a lot of noise at first. You want at least 2 cups to 3 cups of leek. Depends on how much you're gonna make. I'll have a recipe for you online. Look, we got green water. The water turned green. How much fun is that? Wait till you see what we do for Easter in April. Okay. And I'm gonna grab my spoon. And I'm gonna go ahead and start. Ooh, it smells incredible already. Hey, you gotta come in here. See this pot? Absolutely stunning. Look at that green color. That's what happens when chlorophyll meets oil and heats up very quickly. That's gonna be yummy. I don't wanna salt and pepper this yet. I'm gonna do that at one time. What I do wanna do is make sure that this is cooking, and I'm looking for a little bit different color than the actual raw vegetable. And it may take you a minute or 2. So we'll let this cook for about 10 more seconds. And then I'll stir it up. Now, this has been cooking, these leeks, for a few minutes. And they're getting all buttery and tender. Now what I'm gonna do is add something to thicken this up. I have here just regular all-purpose flour. And I'm gonna put in about a teaspoon per, maybe 4 teaspoons will cover that amount of water, which is 2 quarts. Then what I'm gonna do is let that, stir that in, and this flour is gonna thicken our soup because this is literally a 1 soup meal. Okay. And I gotta let the flour cook for at least a minute or 2. And it's gonna absorb up all that oil. And you can see it starts to look doughy on my spatula here. The next thing that goes in are our potatoes. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those in. Last ingredient when we're ready. Okay. Oh, this smells so good. Just sort of mixing that up here. And now we put in our stock. Let me turn this, and I'm just gonna pour it all in, because that's what's so great about soup. You just pour in all the liquids you need. Oh, woo! All right, there we go. Now I'm gonna be very gentle when I start stirring this, because there is gonna be a little bit of stick on the bottom, because this is now ready to go, ready to cook. And I am going to add seasonings. You can either do it before or later. And I'm gonna go ahead and put some pepper in now. Just a little, not a lot. That's about a 1/4 teaspoon. Maybe, whoop, that fell in the pot. And salt, I'd rather do it later, but I know if I put it in now, I'm gonna get a much different flavor. And I want this to come up. There, just about 1 teaspoon of salt. Then you cover it, lower the heat, and you come back in about 30 minutes. Okay, it's been about a half an hour, 38 minutes, and let's see what we got. I'm gonna open up this soup, and we have a nice, already cooked, let's see here. Let me get a small knife, and if the potatoes go through that easy, done. Now, what I'm gonna do, we just got this Dutch oven, and I don't wanna ruin the enamel in it by using an Immersion Blender. This is what we're gonna use. This is such a cool device because it goes into the food, and then we turn it on and it blitzes. But because I have the brand that doesn't have protection on it, I'm gonna be actually scraping the bottom of a brand new Dutch oven, which I don't wanna do. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use one of our tubs here that I used earlier, and I'm just gonna transfer the soup over. This might take me a minute because I'm doing it left-handed, and I'm a right-handed kind of guy. Here, let me do it this way. And I keep the source and the destination close together. I don't want to do this and go across the room. And I want you kids to know that you can put things close together so that you don't make a mess. And the other thing you can do is, instead of filling up the ladle, leave a little gap. Fill it up slightly less, like that. Can you see?
Yes.
And then go ahead and put that in. The soup smells so good. Butter, leeks, potatoes. You can put in garlic if you want. You don't have to. And then what I'm going to do for the rest of this, once I get most of it out, is I'm going to use my trusty there we go. Lift it up. And you never want to spill it towards you. You want to spill it away from you, just in case somebody comes into the kitchen and shocks you, scares you. Okay. And now the fun part. We get to blitz this. But before I do, let me get up what I did not get in the pot. Turn off the oven, stove, bring this over to you. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna plug this in. And this is so much fun to use. Most of these devices only have very simple controls, okay? They have a high and a low switch, and that's it. A high and a low switch. So the next thing I want to do, just in case it goes crazy on me, I want to have a towel next to me. Make sure this doesn't go in. Nobody wants electrified soup. And then, as long as you are below these big grooves, and then you turn it on. I'm gonna do low at first. You see how it's pureeing? And this is all science, because it's gonna actually suck things in, and then it's gonna chop them up. And I'm gonna go to high speed. Oh, that was high speed. How about that? There we go. Just sort of go round and round. Move it from side to side. This is a great way to puree soups. See how powerful this is. I don't want to shoot it out across everywhere, but it is a fun device to use. Because we cook the food, it's saturated and filled with water. That way when we puree it, it just falls right apart. And that's what we want. Almost done. If you want to roast a poblano chili and put in half, you'll get a little spike in the food. That's very Southwestern. But we're going to stick with the classic today, okay? And I'm done. How do I know I'm done? There's a button on the back that'll detach the immersion from the motor. A couple taps, and then I can taste. That's pretty good. I don't think it needs a whole lot of salt and pepper. Take out the one piece that I missed. Let's pour it back in. There we go. You can see how, I don't want to strain it. I want it to be a thick soup. Oh yeah. In the kitchen, we don't care if we lose a little bit of it. But at home, you're gonna come in here and you're probably gonna scrape it all down and get it all out. I don't blame you one bit, because leeks are only available at certain times a year. Right now in March, April, this is the time to do leek soup. And then we're gonna bring this back up to the heat. Let me get a tasting spoon. Chefs always have tasting spoons. And I'm gonna taste it and see, number one, look how blended it is. And number two, I wanna taste it, see, is it salty? Is it peppery? What does it need? I don't think it needs a thing. I think it's perfect just like this. You can serve this if you would like creamy flavor or creamy texture. You can put a dollop of yogurt, Greek yogurt on top, or sour cream, or even Mexican crema, a really good quality one. And the soup, I'm just gonna reheat it up for a second. Wash off my ladle since I have whole pieces in it. Got a whole piece here. You can eat it. It's not gonna hurt, it's just not what I wanna serve everybody. Okay, look how creamy that is. Now let me serve you up a portion. I've got a French bowl right here. These are so much fun. If you ever see these are for French onion soup, where they put a big giant crouton of bread over it, then a cheese, then they brulee it so it's bubbling. There's one other ingredient I gotta get. I've got some croutons. This is cheese and garlic flavor, and that's gonna be a very nice garnish. I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. Wow. You've got to be kidding me. I can't get into this thing. This is where you need adults in the kitchen. I am an adult. Ooh. Okay, wow. Well, I really blew that one. You know what's next? The knife, the cutting board. All right. Wow, that was a cute one, wasn't it? There we go. Just rip that. Oh, look. There's a dotted line I was supposed to follow. Boy, I blew that, didn't I? Well, let's see if I can follow it now. Don't want to nick anybody or anything. Now it'll open up. Perfect. We got our croutons ready. Let's go over and get some of our delicious soup. My wife's gonna be so happy. She loves soup. And I like making her happy. How about a nice cup and a half or more? How about, ooh, both get in. All right. And then I'm gonna put in some croutons. I don't know, not a lot, because this is gonna saturate. I think that ought to make her happy. And then I'm gonna take, just sort of clean up a little boo-boo I did, get her a spoon. And that will be our leek and potato soup with chicken stock, potatoes, and leek. And then, of course, salt, pepper. That doesn't really count as an ingredient, but I hope you enjoy this as much as me. Hang on, I gotta get my tasting spoon again. My wife won't notice if I take a little bit out. It's so fantastic. For kids that don't like onions, this is a great way to get them into the onion family. The leeks are actually part of the lily family, which is interesting, but the taste is incredible, and it's got the richness of the potato. You can taste the butter. You can taste the chicken stock. Everything you can taste. When you can taste everything in your dish and it's loaded with color, it's loaded with flavor, fantastic. Well, thanks for joining me. I hope you go out and get the ingredients you need. I'll post it online. And enjoy the kitchen. Be safe, everybody.